If you've ever found yourself thinking, there's a lot of disruption happening right now, and I wish I had a community of agency owners I could really learn from, grow with, and share the journey with, this episode is for you because that kind of community does exist. And in today's episode, I'm pulling back the curtain on what happens when agency owners actually show up for each other. Inside Agency Together, I get a front row seat to the kind of growth that doesn't happen by accident. Referrals happen, yes, but also cross-agency collaboration, behind-the-scenes insight sharing, operational upgrades, and innovation that spreads through generosity, not gatekeeping. You'll hear 5 short and real stories, each one showing what's possible when you stop going it alone. So let's get into it. Welcome to the Small But Mighty Agency Podcast. If you want to grow an agency to 7 figures and beyond without working more hours in your business, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Audrey Joy Kwan. I know what it takes to build an agency, including supporting an agency owner in selling and exiting. I also have a master's degree in communications, specializing in organizational development. My team and I have worked behind the scenes of multiple 7-figure agencies and have coached and consulted with over 150 agency owners. All this to say, when you join us on the Small But Mighty Agency Podcast, you get real-world experience and practical tips that help you work less, earn more, and lead with integrity. So let's go. Hey friends, welcome back to the Small But Mighty Agency Podcast. If you're new here, this show is for agency owners who are building differently, because small but mighty doesn't mean small goals, small revenue, or small ambition. It means you've chosen clear over complex, agility over hierarchy, relationships over noise. You run lean on purpose, you scale with strategy, and you care less about being everywhere and more about being known for the right things by the right people. If that sounds like you, you're in the right place. And if you've been listening to our series, you've heard me talk about why small agencies shouldn't grow alone and the 3 collaborators every small but mighty agency needs. Today, I want to take you behind the scenes. Not theory, not a framework, but real stories, real outcomes, real wins from inside the Agency Together network. Because Agency Together isn't just a good idea, it's a room that's producing results every single month. I get asked all the time, so what actually happens inside Agency Together? Is it just referrals? And listen, referrals do happen, great ones, but that's not the only win. This isn't a room where you show up, swap leads, and leave. It's not a pitch and pray kind of space. Agency Together is built on a simple idea. When agency owners get to know each other deeply through strategic conversation, not just surface chats, they naturally create opportunities together, not just for revenue, but for growth, clarity, and momentum. And today, I'm going to show you what that looks like in practice through 5 kinds of wins I've seen play out again and again inside the network. Number 1, let's start with what most people think about when they hear referral network. Someone sends you a lead, you get the project, end of story. But there's so much more to how it works inside Agency Together, and honestly, that's a good thing. Let me tell you about Christy. She runs a creative agency with a real strong point of view. She knows her niche, she's clear on who she works best with and who she doesn't. And because of how our cohorts are structured, everyone in her group got to know her really well. We talked positioning, we share sneak peeks of our work, we dig into buyer committees and how to refer each other intentionally. So when someone in her cohort had a connection who sounded like a perfect fit for Christy, they made the intro. And here's what happened next. Christy connected with that prospect. They hit it off, but the timing wasn't right. The client said, let's revisit this in a few months. Now here's where it gets good. Even though the client didn't sign right away, the conversation was so aligned. The values, the vibe, the clarity, that they referred Christy to someone else in their network. And that person signed on immediately for a 5-figure engagement. That's the ripple effect of trust. When you're referable, when your positioning is clear, your presence is consistent, and your energy matches your values, you don't just get one lead, you create momentum. And when you're in a room of people who actually understand your work, you don't have to convince them to refer you. They want to, because they trust that the introduction makes them look good too. Number 2, now let's talk about another kind of win, collaboration. This one's all about growing your visibility and reach, not just your pipeline. There's an agency in our network that serves large nonprofits. seven-figure organizations working on big initiatives, but the founder noticed something. There were a lot of smaller nonprofits doing incredible work, but struggling with visual identity and brand. They weren't ideal long-term clients, but the agency wanted to support them. So they launched a grant to fund branding and design to help these smaller nonprofits get the visual clarity they needed. And here's where it gets smart and where Agency Together came in. This agency had design and brand implementation covered, but instead of doing it all themselves, they looked across the network and said, who else can bring their strengths to this and make it even better? And they brought in a brand strategist to help shape the messaging, a social media consultant, and someone with fundraising expertise who could speak directly to donor engagement. Suddenly, this wasn't just a branding project. It became a collaborative visibility initiative, a project that touched every part of what nonprofits need to grow their impact. Each agency brought their zone of genius. Each one got visibility in front of aligned audiences, and together they elevated the experience, not just for the clients, but for each other. That's what collaboration can do when it's rooted in alignment. It's not about competing, it's about co-creating something smarter, stronger, and more impactful together. And this kind of collaboration doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you're in a room where people know your value, trust your expertise, and want to build something real with you. Number 3, let's switch gears a bit because not every win is external. Some of the most powerful shifts we see are internal. Inside Agency Together, we run monthly sneak peek sessions. Think of them like behind-the-scene tours of other agencies, how they run ops, manage teams, land sales, structure retainers, all of it. And often these sessions spark quiet but game-changing insight. Taylor, another member, came to a session where the topic was client experience and account management. And in that one session, she picked up something she knew would change things. She brought it back to her team. They implemented a small but powerful process shift, and that one change improved client communication and helped up-level the confidence of her account managers. The result, stronger relationships, better retention, more trust, and more capacity to grow. That's the power of leaning into the right rooms. You don't need a 10-module course. Sometimes one conversation gives you the missing piece you didn't know you were looking for. And because everyone inside Agency Together is generous with what's working and what's not, you don't waste time reinventing the wheel. Number 4, one of the most underestimated growth strategies, it's clarity. I'm talking about crystal clear positioning. So when someone hears you speak about your work, they get it instantly. That's exactly how Emily shows up inside Agency Together. She's consistently clear about who she serves, what she delivers, and what ROI her clients walk away with. It's not flashy, it's focused, and that focus is magnetic because when you're that dialed in, a few powerful things start to happen. First, you're easy to refer. Other agency owners don't have to guess whether someone's a fit for you. They know. They can confidently say, you need to talk to Emily. Here's exactly what she does and why it works. Second, you spark interest without trying. Emily's clarity builds trust, and trust opens doors. Other agency owners inside the network haven't just referred her, they've hired her because her positioning made it obvious she was the right partner for the work. But here's where this win gets even more powerful. Emily doesn't treat referrals and partnerships as nice-to-haves. She treats them as a strategic system in her business. She knows relationships are her growth engine, and she's intentional about building them. In fact, Agency Together is one of the key networks where she shows up regularly and consistently to do just that. And the result, Emily's agency was fully booked last quarter, driven primarily by referrals and strategic partnerships. That's what happens when you combine clear positioning, consistent visibility, and strategic relationship building in the right rooms. It's not hustle, it's precision, and it's one of the smartest, most sustainable ways to grow. Number 5, let's talk about innovation. There's an agency in the network that's gone deep on AI and automation. They've been building internal tools, streamlining delivery, improving team communication, all using tech. But what makes this a network win, not just a solo success, is how openly they share what they're learning. In their conversations with other Agency Together members, they've been generous with their knowledge, talking through what's working, what they're building, and how they're using tools to create real efficiency. They don't gate their ideas. They don't keep their wins close to the chest. They offer them up as possibilities for others to explore, adapt, and run with. And one agency did just that. They took what they learned from these conversations and then engaged the same agency to support them in implementing similar systems tailored to their niche. Together, they made real strides in operational efficiency and team capacity. This wasn't a transaction, it was trust in action. Because in Agency Together, generosity isn't performative, it's practical. And when someone shares what's actually working, it doesn't just save time, it builds momentum. That kind of open innovation is rare, but inside this network, it's normal. So you've heard 5 stories today. Number 1, a referral ripple that turned into a 5-figure client. Number 2, a collaborative project that boosted visibility across the niche. Number 3, a sneak peek inside the up-leveled internal ops. Number 4, a fully booked agency powered by clarity and relationship strategy. And number 5, an innovation share that helped another agency build capacity through AI. Very different outcomes, but here's what they all have in common. It came from trust, it happened in a curated, values-aligned room, and it didn't require hustle, it required connection. Here's what I know. You don't need a massive audience to grow. You don't need to be everywhere, and you don't need another course or program. You do need to be in a room where people understand your business, they see your value, and they're eager to build alongside you. That's what we've created inside Agency Together. And if you've been listening and thinking, that's the kind of space I've been missing, you're invited. Join us for the next Agency Together Strategic Partnership Mixer. It's free, it's not a webinar, it's not a pitch fest. It's a curated, intentional room where you can meet other small but mighty agency owners who might become your next referral partner, collaborator, or amplifier. Visit agencytogether.com/mixer-event to grab your spot. The link is in the show notes. Until next time, remember, small but mighty isn't a limitation, it's the advantage, and you don't have to grow alone. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me at the Small But Mighty Agency podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world to me if you hit the follow or subscribe button in your podcast app and share it with a friend. I'll see you on the next one.